Welcome back, my holistic soul sisters. It's me, Mandy Rose, your relational astrologer. In today's video, we're talking all about this dreamy full moon in Pisces that's happening on September 10th at 5:59 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, this full moon is going to be very dreamy. It is ruled by the planet Jupiter, which you guys know, Jupiter is my favorite planet, all about expansion, growth, opportunity, abundance, and it's in conjunction or near the planet Neptune, which is all about dreaminess and imagination and creativity. So we're going to talk so much about that in this full moon in Pisces video. We're going to dive into what does a full moon in Pisces mean? It happens every single year, so we can better understand what we can expect every year during this Astro event. And then we're going to talk about the specific things that are happening in 2022 for this full moon in Pisces and the current Astro weather. And of course, like I do at the end of all my new and full moon videos, I'm going to give you some ideas, activities, and rituals that you can do to maximize this energy around this full moon. So let's go ahead and start out with the basics. Now, this full moon in Pisces, like I mentioned, is happening on September 10th at 5:59 a.m. So very early in the morning. You may catch the moon at its fullness right before it sets, depending where you are in the world, so make sure you adjust that for your time zone. Something to note, though, is that full moon energy lasts for 3 days before to 3 days after. Now, it is happening in the zodiac sign of Pisces, so you're probably wondering why I'm wearing my Virgo shirt. Well, that's because the sun is in Virgo. Directly across the sky is the zodiac sign of Pisces, and that's where the moon is. And full moons happen when the sun and the moon are in direct opposition in the sky. And where the sun is in Virgo is going to play a big part in the energy of this full moon in Pisces. So we'll get to that in just a moment. The exact degree point that this full moon in Pisces is happening in the sky is at 17 degrees of Pisces. So we're going to pull up the chart here and you'll see the moon is at 17 degrees of Pisces and the sun is at 17 degrees of Virgo. So you're going to want to go ahead and pull up your birth chart and see if you have any planets around the 17-degree mark of Virgo or Pisces. If you do, this Astro Weather Event is going to impact you more heavily. Now, with every new and full moon, we're always going to have a planetary ruler, a planet that rules that full or new moon and adds its energy to this current Astro event. So full moon in Pisces, Pisces being the main zodiac sign, and the ruler of Pisces is Jupiter. So Jupiter is the ruling planet, like I mentioned earlier. Jupiter wants to bring growth and expansion. It is all about philosophy and our belief system. It's all about opportunity and abundance and idealism and wanting to see the world as optimistically as possible. So it's this beautiful overlying element of expansion and growth, and that's what we're going to be doing during this full moon. Now, another thing to understand about full moons are because the sun is in one zodiac sign and the moon is directly across the sky, it happens on what we call an axis. And the axis of Virgo and Pisces is a healing axis. Virgo rules the physical body, the physical health and wellness, the healing we need to do on a physical scale. But Pisces, directly across the axis, is also about healing, but it's about healing the energetic, the spiritual, the psyche, the emotions. So this is a healing axis full moon. So we're going to be healing physically, we're going to be healing emotionally, we're going to be healing energetically. This full moon brings so much healing. And with Jupiter as the ruler, wanting us to grow and expand and to create prosperity, the way that we're going to do it is through some deep healing. So this is a very dreamy, beautiful moment of time where we can harness this astro weather and do some healing for ourselves. So a full moon in Pisces happens every single year. And when it does, we're going to harness the Pisces energy. So let's go ahead and put up here what Pisces represents in the astro weather. Pisces is the last and final sign. That's why it has to deal so much with healing. And being the final sign, it's like culminations, endings, wrapping up karma, kind of healing that final puzzle piece so we can move into the next chapter. So every year when we have a full moon in Pisces, being the last zodiac sign, this is an energetic reset. Pisces rules the spiritual world. It rules the metaphysical, the things unseen, the things behind the scenes. So it deals a lot with our intuition and our connection to the divine. It deals with our ability to have faith in the things that we can't necessarily see from our physical perspective. It deals a lot with forgiveness and letting go so that we can heal and purge and cleanse and move on to that new chapter. So a lot of forgiveness, a lot of compassion, a lot of love comes along with the energy of Pisces. Now, Pisces also deals with emotions. You know, it's a water sign. Remember, Pisces is a water element. And I always equate the Pisces water with a good old heavy downpour, right? Those emotions can come on strong and they can feel very deep and we can feel them intensely. But as that rain, as the emotions spill out and spill over us, we can feel cleansed and refreshed and anew, just like we can feel after a good heavy downpour when it rains in the summer. The downfall of Pisces energy that we have to be careful for is that Pisces energy is prone to addiction or escapism. Pisces energy loves to live in la la land, in the ethereal, in the metaphysical, in the spiritual. And sometimes because it's so empathic and it feels so many emotions and so many vibrations that sometimes you want to escape from the density. So maybe too much noise, too much light, too many people, too much negativity, too many bad vibes can really irritate us when we are exposed to Pisces energy. And so we want to escape with food and alcohol and drugs. So we have to be very careful around a Pisces full moon that we're not indulging in escapism behavior. So definitely something to take note of around the time of this full moon. So now that we have a better understanding of what Pisces energy is, we can understand that during a full moons are all about peaks and culminations, endings of cycles, right? It's when the moon is as full as it can possibly be in the sky, and it will only shed its light from there. So it's kind of the peak and the highlight point. So pay attention in your life where this Pisces energy is coming in, where you need to do some healing, where you need to connect more with the divine. Pisces energies are just so good for cleansing, forgiving, letting go, and releasing as we move into that next chapter of life. Now, also remember that because Pisces deals with the metaphysical and our connection to source and divine and God, we can be more creative as we tap more into our intuition. So really taking time to pause and reflect, meditate, pray, use your oracle or tarot cards, just feel energetically into situations can allow you to become more creative, to find more answers in what you want that next chapter to be. So a very dreamy full moon that happens every single year. But we need to understand the current astro weather. So let's dive into this full moon in Pisces happening in 2022. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and pull up this chart here so we can see where all the other planets, all the other life coaches are at the time of this full moon in Pisces to see what energy or vibe they're bringing to this full moon party to help support us on this journey. So of course, we definitely need to talk about Jupiter, right? Jupiter is the ruling planet of this full moon. So let's go ahead and find Jupiter on this chart. And Jupiter is in Aries, and he's currently retrograde. So this is something that we need to pay attention to because as the ruling planet of this full moon is going backwards in the sky, we need to go inward. And Jupiter is the planet, like I mentioned, of growth, with expansion, opportunity, blessing, and prosperity. And when he goes retrograde, those things kind of dry up. And we need to look inward, retrograde, look inward as to how we can create our own abundance by working with what we already have. And Pisces full moon is, remember, we have a connection to divine, to source, to God, to help give us our inspiration, to help stimulate our imagination, to help us be creative. So we already have what we need inside of us, and Jupiter is going retrograde, so we're not getting outward prosperity and growth. We need to look within ourselves. So this is a beautiful healing message. Remember, this full moon is all about physical and spiritual and energetic healing. So the answers you have in this area of life, you probably already have within yourself. The other thing that we can notice from this chart that's very important to pay attention to is the planet Neptune. Neptune is the co-ruler of Pisces. So Jupiter is the main ruler, but Neptune is like the co-landlord of this area. So he also plays a role in the energy of this full moon. And we can see that Neptune is in Pisces. So he's at home here and he's very close to the moon at the time of this full moon. So in 2022, the moon is going to be at its peak, at its fullest, when the moon is at 17 degrees of Pisces. And just after that, as he's shedding his light, as he's closing this chapter, as the culmination has already happened, he'll keep moving to 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and at 24 degrees, he's going to run into Neptune very shortly after this full moon. And as the moon runs into Neptune, we have to remember Neptune's retrograde as well. So Neptune is not acting like himself. He is a little confused. There's a little bit of haziness. He might not be as clear. And so we can feel a little discouraged. Like we have this inspiration and we have direction and we have clarity as we tap into our intuition, God, source, divine during the full moon. And then like within a day, we can get kind of unclear and hazy. So pay attention to that energy. It won't last long. Neptune's retrograde is going to be happening for a little while longer. So we're just going to embrace that as the moon moves past Neptune, who is in his home sign of Pisces. And the last thing I want to bring up regarding the chart is we can see the sun in Virgo at 17 degrees, the moon across the chart in Pisces at 17 degrees, and then in a square with that is Mars in Gemini at 11 degrees, so almost in an exact square. And we know that Mars is going to be in Gemini for 7 months. He's going to be trapped here. He's usually in a zodiac sign for only 6 weeks. So this Mars and Gemini energy is something that's going to become very prominent to us and something that we're going to feel for a while, especially as he retrogrades coming up in October. And the fact that Mars is in a square with this full moon brings an element of frustration. Mars wants to do a bunch of things at once when he's in Gemini. Gemini's the twins, so he wants to do this and that and this and that and create, right? Mars is action, it's doing. And so he wants to do all these Gemini things, which involve the mind and learning and creating and socializing and networking. But this full moon is asking us to heal. And squares are tension points. Remember, whenever we have a square in astrology, there's like a decision that needs to be made, a road, a path that has to be taken in one direction or another. And so pay attention how right now you might want to take action on multiple things. You might be overdoing it when instead we need to full moon heal the physical body, take our supplements, get into a routine, right? That Virgo energy of structure, discipline, routine, get organized. While the moon is in Pisces to heal our physical, mental, and spiritual body instead of taking all this action. And if we are going to take action, we need to take action on things that are in alignment with the healing of this full moon. So just be cautious with that energy, do some journal prompts around that, and I think you will find that Pisces inspiration, the Pisces manifestation in dreams that comes along at the time of a Pisces full moon. And just to give you a little fast forward in the astro weather is you're really going to want to pay attention to what comes up around this full moon in Pisces, because Pisces is the area of the sky, the zodiac sign, that is going to be very stimulated in 2023. As we're wrapping up 2022, I'm going to be starting to talk a little bit about the astro weather that we can expect in the upcoming year. I am currently working on the 2023 retrograde astrology journal. So if you have your 2022 copy, stay tuned. I'm going to have it ready within the next month to purchase, talking about all the astro weather coming up next year. And Pisces is going to be very activated. Jupiter, the ruling planet of this full moon, is going to be moving from Aries back into Pisces for 2 months in October and November and December. So we're going to revisit Pisces with Jupiter just shortly here. And then next year, Saturn will leave Aquarius and enter the zodiac sign of Pisces for almost 3 years. So Pisces energy is going to be something we're going to have to understand, embrace, and indulge. So if you have your retrograde journal, you can go ahead and learn about Pisces from the sun season page. You can learn about Pisces from this full moon page when you open that up, or go back to this video and listen again to what Pisces energy entails, because this is going to be something that's going to come to us in multiple different ways with multiple different planets bringing us multiple life coach lessons. So I'm excited for that. This full moon is very powerful, very dreamy, very healing, and I hope it does that for you. Now, to end this video, I'm going to give you some ritual activities and ideas that you can implement around the time of this full moon. Remember, full moon energy lasts 3 days before to 3 days after. So go ahead and add this to your calendar, to your full moon ritual. So let's start out with number one ritual or activity I would do around this full moon, and that is doing some energetic healing. Whatever that looks like for you. It could be sound bath, sound meditation, going on YouTube and typing in sound healing for root chakra, whatever it might be in the vibration of sound. It could be light therapy, doing red light therapy, doing blue light therapy, doing different kind of light therapy, sitting out in the sun and receiving the light vibrations. It could be chakra balancing or energetic healing, working with a shaman. Any kind of energetic healing would be very, very good around this Pisces full moon. The second thing I would do around this Pisces full moon, because it's related to the metaphysical, the spiritual, God, source, all those things, is I would create some sort of spiritual altar, spiritual ritual, something that you can do to praise, worship, send gratitude to your higher being, whoever and whatever that might be. So it could be a prayer journal. It could be going to church if you don't go to church very often. It could be creating an altar to a specific god or goddess. It could be some form of meditation. I would definitely do some sort of spiritual or ritual around your connection to God's source divine. Whatever that looks like for you. Make it unique, make it your own. Everyone has a different relationship with their source. And the third and final thing that I will do around this full moon in Pisces comes directly from the 2022 retrograde astrology journal. I always give you a moon ritual idea for every full and new moon. And this one is write a letter of forgiveness. Pisces is all about cleansing and clearing, karma, endings, like letting go. And it's all about the energy of forgiveness. In order to forgive, we have to do something around it where we are acknowledging it to the universe, that we are ready to let go. So write a forgiveness letter to someone. Did you hurt someone in the past? Are you going to forgive someone for how they hurt you in the past? Now, this letter doesn't have to be something that you share or give to someone else. You can simply write this letter of forgiveness and, burn it. You can put it in some water. Like, you can literally, what I do when I write a forgiveness letter is I write it and then I immerse it in water, and I see all the ink from the paper just spread into the water, clearing and cleansing that piece of paper. So that's something that maybe you could do around the time of this full moon to energetically heal and to embrace the Pisces forgiveness so you can move into the next chapter of your life lighter and clearer. All right, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I hope it brought you value. Please let me know in the comments below if you like these videos, if you like the ritual ideas, what other content I can bring you as far as full and new moons. And of course, head over to Holistic Soul Sisters on Instagram, where I share a lot more content, not just on astrology, but also on spiritual healing, physical healing. It's in perfect alignment with this full moon in Pisces, right? Virgo being the physical healing, Pisces being the spiritual healing, and that's what we do here at Holistic Soul Sisters. So make sure you follow us on Instagram, and of course over on TikTok. I am the Relational Astrologer, where I just mainly dive into relationships and astrology and how you can have better relationships with yourself and others by following the current astro weather and your personal birth charts. And just to give you guys a heads up, if you're interested in doing a full birth chart reading with me, or an astro weather update reading or solar return reading, I am limited in my bookings for the rest of September. And then in October, I will be taking a break from readings because I will be working on the 2023 retrograde astrology journal. And I want to make sure I have that done by November 1st for you. So readings will pick back up in November and December. So many people come to me for astro weather forecast for the upcoming year. So if you really want one for September, reach out at the email below or reach out to me on social media and I will get you scheduled. And so again, thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you hit like and subscribe and stay tuned for more videos all about the current astro weather. Happy full moon in Pisces. I hope you do some healing, and I will catch you in the next video.